All right. Looks like we're live. Sorry, a compelling shot of the back of my head there. I just want to go ahead and come out right now and apologize. My voice is not all that it has been the last couple of weeks. Of course, another round of illness has run through my house for some reason and left me to catch the brunt of it, which is pretty terrible in my opinion. And I'm really kind of tired of it. Like, really tired of it. It feels like it's been like 12 weeks and I haven't had like a good, strong start to the year. Of course, this year has been crap with all the politics and everything that's going on. So I hope that everybody understands a little bit tonight. I'm just trying to get back on track and back on pace for what has been kind of like a rough year so far. Some more bad news, I guess, here in the foundry. The factory over there has been taking its time trying to get the parts out. So another little bit of delay. They finally got it finished, I think on Friday or Thursday last week. And so we got some parts that are going to be arriving here very, very soon, Monday to be exact, which will be the fully updated thin neck. I'm going to take a review of it, get it fitted, figure out what's going on with it, and get it back to the factory so that they can produce the parts that we want to have. So I'm really glad that everybody gets an opportunity to come out and hear me talking about this stuff. I feel like there's not a lot of other vendors that talk about it really that freely and explain kind of what's going on behind the scenes. So hopefully you guys appreciate the transparency and you can see that stuff kind of going on, wherever it happens. Yeah, because of the slowness of those parts, it's really kind of put a damper on the momentum that we had created for the end of last year. And so I've been really trying to get back on track and get everything going forward. There's been a lot of things that's changed with the website. So if you've been with me for a little while and you've seen the stuff, you know that the website has changed significantly on the front side. So we've added a bunch of new imagery as well as hover over hotspots on top of stuff so that people have an interactive experience on the web page. I'm really, really happy with it right now. I think we're going to try and add a little bit more to it so that it's just a little bit more, I guess, innovative. I don't see very many other Saber companies doing this yet. I feel like they probably could if they really wanted to. So I'm going to try and get some more of it taken care of, like get some more stuff added to it to give it a little bit more punch and pop and give it some neat designs. I'm really hoping that I'll have that wrapped up in the next couple of weeks so that I won't have to touch it again for ever. To be completely honest with you, I've been doing a lot of work on the website between SEO stuff as well as like website design to make everything fit and flow and look a little bit more presentable, as you would expect from like a really like top-notch, Saber vendor or what have you. So I'm hoping to see some more folks come up. It looks like I've only got none, a zero. So setting the pace for the year. I'm trying to pop this chat out, but for whatever reason, it's not trying to pop out for me. I'd like to have it come out so that I can see it. There we go. Got it. Haha. I guess I should probably work on figuring out how to do more stream stuff, like stream events here, because it looks like I'm just not that good at it. So pretty bad, all the way around. Anyways, in case you guys were wondering, this is the Corvus Cast. My name's Tim, your host, who is not particularly attractive, nor are my jokes funny, and really honestly, we're just talking about made-up stuff anyway. So hopefully you found your way here and you're enjoying yourself this evening with the time that we have together. Pardon me while I take a swig of water here really quick to get refreshed. All right, well, the agenda tonight is pretty wide open. And I think the reason why it's open is because I had a recommendation earlier on in the evening after we were talking on the Discord. And so this is the Discord plug. If you are not on the Discord and you think you should be, you should follow the links on my socials. I'll all send you over to the Discord where we have lots and lots of discussions. It's been pretty quiet the last couple of weeks because things haven't been developing as fast as I had hoped. But the developments are going to keep coming over the course of the next couple of months. I got a lot of things planned. So I've already made mention of it before. I've got Vader, like MPP shroud that I've been really wanting to get produced. It's just the problem is that it's super expensive. because it's basically a big hunk of metal. And so not a lot of like immediate finances in line to make that thing. And so I'm hoping what the next project is going to do is bring that along for the ride, and we'll have some Vader MVP shrouds that are universal for all of VHC. My hope is, I haven't seen one made yet, so I'm hoping to get it made before anybody else does, at the very least, and scaled appropriately, scaled properly, right? So, other things kind of in the pipeline. I'm really looking at trying to get a grenade grip going. I've got a prototype over here. I've had one for a while. This one was made up by a friend of mine, 3D printed in not epoxy. Is it epoxy? In resin, excuse me, in a resin print. It's really, really nice, but it's not quite the right shape and size that I wanted it to be. So there's some more work that needs to be done. I've already got the model taken care of. It's just a matter of getting it over to the factory for them to work on it. So I've got that grenade grip, and then I want to put out a Luke grenade grip this year, as well as some more additional pieces that we'll talk about here in just a minute. So still waiting on for some people to show up. It looks like we still have a count of 0, so we're gonna get tonight going real good. So the idea that was presented to me earlier today was a let's play with my parts thing. And so instead of building something in Fusion 360, I'll come out and build some stuff in real life with the things that I have available to me. And so I'm going to throw some gloves on, and I'll transition the camera over to the other side, and we'll start doing some work in the build space over here on my right, and start working on putting a couple of things together just to see kind of what can be done. I don't know that everybody realizes just how flexible alloy is supposed to be. It's designed to be the most versatile aftermarket addition to VHC that you can get. Almost everybody, like almost every vendor out there right now, I think, I haven't seen a single one of them that deviates from it, but the majority of them, they produce parts that are within the same format and same structure as VHC, and that's convenient. Excuse me. That's convenient for them, of course, because that means that they can sell parts that are immediately compatible with something, and they don't require any extra or additional parts or any thought really from a customer, to have to figure out what other parts go together. But one of the things that I've been like thinking about really heavily is like, I want a Saber experience that I can swap and mix and match and find all the different part combinations that I want to play with, and determine what my parts build is going to be, without feeling like I'm stuck with something or pinned down because of a decision that I made farther up on the hilt or farther down on the hilt, because there's only a handful of what I guess we'll call sex change. I don't want to call that sex change, but adapters or couplers that change from male to female, or excuse me, to change female to male or male to female. And usually those come in the form of something that is the same on both ends. So it'll be a female part and a male part. And so what we're going to do over here is I'll show you the level of versatility that I think alloy provides to VHC, and bring you guys along for a ride so you can see all of the stuff that you're capable of doing with alloy. And we'll just do whole builds. And one thing I need you guys to understand is that I don't have a lot of emitters, and I don't have a lot of pommels that are built. Right, I've got switches and kind of everything in between, and that's really what I wanted to get to. But I don't have a lot of the pommels on the ends, and I also seem to be at a dearth of a lot of my VHC parts anyways. They've been packed up for a really long time, and I thought that I had a lot more. As it turns out, I don't have a lot more. I have a lot less than I thought. And so as I continue on through this, just keep in mind the stuff that I have is what I have available to me at the moment. I don't have a full stock of VHC parts because I'm not technically a VHC vendor. They're all my stuff. Everything I have is mostly from my personal collection. So I don't know if I can run these cameras the correct way, if they'll run the same way, but I'll go ahead and minimize myself and turn on this other camera, and it looks like it's gonna work. So you guys can see my stupid face down here in the bottom, and the stuff that I'm doing. You know what? I'm gonna slide this over here to this side. Yeah. Okay. So I just want to make sure I thank Mr. Ron Daniels for this. He gave me the idea to pursue this. And what you're going to see here is just a little bit of playtime. Um, and so I'm not even really sure where to start at on this, other than to decide, I guess what place we want to go to. Let's just start with a female type 5 body segment, and we're going to use this as the starting point for where we want to go. I guess where we want to go to. You know what? Let's not do that. Let's do the 4 or a 3 and a 2. Let's do a 3 and a 2. That sounds like more fun because we're going to add some stuff in the middle here. You have to excuse me. I've got all of my parts kind of arrayed in different spaces here, and so it might take me just a couple of moments to find some of the stuff that I want to play with. But bear with me, and we'll go from here. So I got a Type 2 and a Type 3 body segment, and one of the pieces that I really love to play around with is the clan adapter. It's one of the more fun parts, and I think that its spacing is just perfect to be able to make a really nice accent piece inside of your grip section, to be able to make like a really nice spacer inside of your grip. Pardon me. Man, I didn't think that I was going to get so parched already. I see people got up here in the chat, so let me go ahead and pull that chat over so that I can see what exactly is going on here. Yeah, here we go. So here's so I got Ron's. Let's see here, not Ron. There we go. All right, I got the chat up so I can see you guys over here off the left side of my face, or off the left side of my body. But we'll go ahead and go forward with this. So one thing I do want you to keep in mind is that the majority of these parts were built with a certain standard in mind, 105 millimeters actually, which is basically the length of what you would see on most VHC parts. It's not exact. It's a rough number, but 105 seemed good and round. I think this is the Sentinel from Fire Sabers. It's about 107 or so. But the majority of parts kind of fall pretty closely in line with that 105 millimeters spacing, right? And so if you're mixing and matching parts, if you mix and match like a 2 and a 3 with another adapter or another segment, sorry, a little bit of interruption there, but if you're mixing and matching these parts, you're going to get pretty close to that 105 millimeter spacing. This is a 4 and a 1. So that Type 4 and that Type 1 kind of fit together. And there are more adapters that are going to be coming out over time. So right now I only offer like a 2.5 or 2.25 millimeter adapter. So my standard adapter here is this 2.25 adapter, and so that doesn't quite make up that difference, but something along the lines of this male Type 2 or 2.1, I think, I can't remember right offhand, kind of makes up that difference. It's about 5 millimeters on that piece, right? So the two of those come together and make roughly that 105 millimeters. So if you weren't aware of that kind of thought process that that went into these, you have this spacing, and all of those are supposed to kind of come back to around that 105 millimeter space, so that when you're building your sabers, you still kind of have a guideline on what those grips are supposed to fit to, right? Man, my voice is really wrung out today. Sorry, guys. If you guys have an opportunity, you can throw some stuff up in the chat, and I'll try and get some responses to that. But I just wanted to show you that thought process and what went into these. Obviously, there's going to be more adapters coming down the line, more things that are going to be in development, and so you're going to see some more capability being added with these items as the product lines begin to, I guess, continue to develop, right? So we'll go ahead and put that off to the side for now. And one of the cool parts that I really liked, that I haven't really had an opportunity to play with a lot of, is the accent caps here on the top and bottom. And so this is I believe Type 1 accent cap. I really like this one. It's got a nice flat end on it, but it also has this chamfer on the back end. Sorry, rest in peace, your ears. But this one here I also like because the chamfer puts this chamfer down here on the bottom. I'm really, really, really fond of that. So what we're going to do here is We're actually gonna take that one. I think that looks really good. I'm gonna put one of those on each end and kind of end cap those pieces. And this is really what they were intended for, was to end cap a grip, right? Sorry, my voice is going really bad. And so these were really designed to end cap a grip. And so that's what I'm going to do with this. I think I'm going to take and throw an adapter in this. And I really want to put a rook pommel on this. So I'm going to put a 2.1 adapter on the end of that to give it a little bit of variation in here. Whoops. And we're going to put a rook pommel on the end of it. And we're just going to play around and see what we like, what we do and don't like. I kind of like that. It looks pretty slick. It's not perfect by any means, but it's pretty nice. Is it possible to couple the caps and rings so you have a ring right up against a cap? So unfortunately, it's not, because inside of your rings you have a 2 1/4. Actually, you know what? Let's try it. Let me do that right now. I'll do it right now. I'll show you. And I'm lying now that I think about it, because I can do that. So each one of the rings and the caps, they have a 2.5 or 2 1/4 millimeter. If I can get it to focus, there we go. That 2 1/4 millimeter reduction. Excuse me, the step down inside of it. And so what we need to put on here to make that happen is one of the 2 1/4 adapters, right? And so I can take that adapter and put it on here, and now I have a ring that sits directly against that, this particular cap. It only works on this cap because it has that flush on the top of it. I can show you here really quick. If I can get this to focus just a little bit. I gotta refocus it. Sorry guys. I'm trying to get it to focus for me. There we go. Okay, that's the space that I wanted. So because this cap is flush, because this cap sits flush to the adapter, excuse me. So because this cap sits flush to the adapter, you can definitely do that. Sorry guys. Unfortunately, on something like this, it's a little bit more complicated because you have that 2 1/4 flush, or that 2 1/4 lip down inside of this as well. All right, this might be a short cast because my throat's not happy today. So I'll pop this off here really quick and show you what I'm talking about. So inside of here is the 2 1/4 drop inside there, and so it sits flush. The top of the adapter sits flush with the top of the cap, and so in order to get that to work that way, you would have to have one of the new adapters that I have, a 5.5 adapter, and so that 5.5 length adapter will allow you to tuck that right inside of there, and they'd fit flush against one another. So that's something that's on the drawing board. It's actually not on the drawing board. It's done. I just need to get it produced. But the call has been for other parts this year. And so I may end up trying to squeeze it in with another set of parts so we get some additional adapters coming over time, right? Man, I probably should put some music on and just do this without talking. Anyways, as we were playing, I'll go ahead and put this on here, and I'll follow the rules and play the game that you were asking me to play. And so I'll put one of these on here, and we'll cover that up here really quick. Bam, right? So here's the beginning of a pretty sweet looking hilt. We need to put a switch on here. I know that I have a handful of switches that are like Vire or other VHC switches, but I'll go ahead and use mine. I just want to make sure you guys can see it. All right, so a little bit of adaptation there, and we've put an accent ring on the bottom part of the switch that fits just perfectly. This top end, I don't know how we want to finish this, but we'll go ahead and add a choke on here. In order to do that, we need to put another adapter on the top end. This works out really easily if you're using a different, usually the emitters. If you decide to put an emitter on this end, your emitters are all male threaded pretty much. And so that makes it pretty easy for a for a user to go ahead and do, just cap off the end of their saber and put on whatever emitter that they want to. But I want to put a choke on here just to add a little bit of length and a balance point, just to play around with it. And not all of these sabers are going to look super pretty. This one has some decent looks to it, but I'm just showing kind of the stuff that you can do with the system. So I think that that's really important. I want to put I got a part that I want to put on here. So this was originally labeled a stop ring. I think it's a Type 4 ring, and so I personally like having a divider in between my grip, the area where I grip my saber, and the emitter. And sometimes I like a little bit something different up on top there. It's not really a big deal, but I do like the way that this has a larger ring on it that kind of acts like I don't say suba, but basically like the dividing line between the place where I want to grip it. Gives me a nice landmark to be able to identify what I'm playing around with here. And so I'm going to go ahead and put on, this isn't actually an emitter that's available out in the system. This is a cam extension from Vire Sabers that I've cut that I was using for another previous build that I've used it on as an emitter on different builds. And I really like it as a simple straight emitter to be able to build some parts, right? I also want to thank Ron for the idea here. He told me to go ahead and grab some rubber bands to do some mock-ups. So I went ahead and grabbed a couple of rubber bands. You'll have to ignore those for the build, but I just wanted to put a simple emitter kind of shrouding on here just to play around with it, see how it comes out. And the one thing I really like about these rings is they make, and Eidolon has one of the guys that's on our Discord. Eidolon is his name. He likes to use these rings as a stop, and they look really good. They look really good when they're positioned like this. You put one of the shrouds, the flat edge of a shroud against it. Golly, I wish my voice would stop this. You put the flat edge of the shroud against it, and you get yourself a really nice setup there. And so this is a pretty compact saber, and I want to make sure I show you guys this. This is the master core that you would get. This is master core that you would get out of, this is one of the fancier ones. It doesn't have a USB port up on the top. It's got a bottom USB port charge. But this is about 6 inches long, and I just want to show you. I think it's about 6.5 actually. The rough length of this saber versus the shroud, or versus that electronics pack. So, there you kind of got an idea on what that shrouding looks like. Or excuse me, not the shrouding, but what the sizing would look like on that piece. I know that it's not fully in focus because the focus point is up here under my hands, right? But it's got a decent look too. I'll go ahead and swap the shroud around a little bit and see if I can't find something else that looks kind of appealing too. I'm really a fan of. I'm actually going to take this off of here really fast. So I'm going to take that ring off, and we're going to put just the cam extension on here. And to answer your question, to add commentary to your cam extension supremacy, I 100% believe the cam extension is like one of the best parts for VHC ever built, ever made, period, done. Like, I bought like 4 or 5 of them when I started doing saber builds because they're that good. And you can cut like the end of them off. You can cut the top of them off. You can cut the bottom of them off. You can get any kinds of things, but they're basically like the easiest made. It's literally this. It's literally this part. It's the same. Like this part is the same length. This is the 3. This is my 3. It's the same length or roughly the same length as a cam. Um, so, anyways, yeah, I'm firmly in the belief that the cam is one of the best parts ever. But we'll go ahead and slap another part on here just to play with it. See what this looks like. I think I started unscrewing some stuff too soon. So here's another look at another part that I really like. The Korax shroud is one of my favorite shrouds that you're gonna find. I think in my inventory. It's really super versatile. You can slide it up, slide it down, put it just about anywhere. It's got a really nice feel to it and a nice look. And if you wanted to and you were keen on it, you can cut the back of this off, right, flat across the back here, and make yourself like a half clamshell shroud. I might have to take myself up on the offer and put some music on and start playing in the background because my voice is going really quick now. I'm coughing a lot more than I wanted to. I thought that I was past it, but I guess I was not. All right, we'll keep going here and see if I can get a little bit more out, and we'll keep pressing on here. I stumbled across this build for a pommel the other day, and I thought that it was really cool. So we're gonna play around with it for just a second. I want to show you that because I thought it was neat, and I gotta get all these things disconnected now. This is the downside of having all these parts is now I have to rebuild them, reposition them, put them back in the places that they need to go, and I got to do it in a timely fashion. I probably should just set them all aside and do another build with the parts that I got available in my hands. But you know, I'd like to have the pieces parts available to mess around with. So I did something with this ring here and this other one. So there's that. We're gonna do this and that and that. Let's see here. How did I do that? That's pretty close. Gotta figure it out. I can't remember how I did it now. That's gonna bother me. Maybe I didn't use that ring. Maybe I used one of these rings. Yeah, that's probably what it was. Yeah, that's pretty close. I reckon. You know what it was? I recall what it was. It was this. Did that. Plus that. Let's do a 33 up on top of there. This was a really nice pommel. Okay, here we go. I figured it out. I had to go back to it here. Okay, had to put that here. Had to put this piece on here. And I needed a cap to hold it all in together. I don't know where dang no put it. Doggone it. There it was. All right. There's a pretty cool, I think, a pretty cool pommel end. So this pommel end is a 33 millimeter male adapter, type 1. And then underneath of this type 4 ring is the type 2 adapter, and then just a normal, this is actually a thin neck end, but it could be any type of pommel cap that has that flat type of surface on it. And then over top of it, I put this type 1 band. Over top of it, I put this type 1 band, okay? Cool. So keeping in mind the 105, right, for that golden number, we've got a type 1 underneath of this with a type 1 male-male ring, or excuse me, male-male adapter. We're going to go ahead and put this on here as the type 4. We'll add just a little bit of length, and now we have our 105. I actually like it a little bit longer. Let's change that around and put this. We'll put this number 5 back on here. And I think that's going to be a nice look. We'll go ahead and capture something I haven't done. Maybe not. That's still a bit long. So sometimes I have this idea and I say, hey, this would be really cool if I had an 80 millimeter and a 105 millimeter. And now I need one that's like right in between the two at like 90, 95 millimeters, which would be perfect. Perfect world kind of thing, right? So we're going to go back to that original that I had, the type 4. I don't know. My brain's kind of moving around. So this is kind of the same height as, a normal pommel. It's pretty close. It's a little bit taller. That's okay. I think we're going to go back to that type 5. And this is all just playing around, trying to find out what's fun. What thing hits just right. And something I haven't done yet is this. So I've always wanted to do this. And I've been waiting to get the parts to be able to do it. So we're actually going to do this really quick. All right, so I'm grabbing my thin neck, which is coming really, really quick, right? And so I wanted to catch it and put on something to try it out. So we're going to put this on here. It's going to cover that piece up for the thin neck. Yeah, wrong way. I put it on the wrong way. Man, I'm really messing this up right now. All right, let's flip that over. Thank you. I appreciate the mintiness of that statement. I think that it looks really good. We'll go ahead and put the pommel on. You won't be able to execute this just yet because we don't have a core that does this, but just keep it in mind for the future because it's coming, right? The future is made up of really cool things. So I'm going to go ahead and, this is a little bit long. I do have, if you've been paying attention to the Discord, I have a neck that's about half the length of this. That's perfect. It's perfect for doing this wasp waist idea that I'm putting together right now. So just give me a second here. Yeah, this one's just a little bit too long. It's a little too lengthy, I think. But we'll go ahead and put. We will go ahead and put on a. Let's see, what's the next piece here? Let's skip the pageantry and go straight at throwing on something that will accept a. Let's see here. What do we want to do? Something that will accept maybe an emitter shroud of sorts, or we'll just go straight at a, let's see here. What do we want to do? Let's catch, where did I put it? This is the crux of having too many parts. The problem with it is now you have too many parts. I had one part. Oh, I can't find it. It's gone. It's just missing completely. I had put it out here. The one that's missing is the female extension that we have. And that female extension is just not, it's not in the mix right now. I had it set aside. I had it pulled over here. It's not here. Okay, well, we'll just do this. We'll go ahead and cap this thing off. I want to add this piece to it because I really think that this emitter looks super good with this part. So I'm going to put the, it used to be called the Revan ring, but it's actually like the type 3 or 5, excuse me, it's the type 5. So put a type 5 ring on there, give it a little detail up underneath of there. You can kind of see it. Hopefully you can see it there. And now we have like a pretty cool wasp waisted a pretty cool wasp waisted build. This would require a custom core. Obviously, this core ain't gonna work because it doesn't get that narrow there. You'd have to chop it and then do some rewiring to make it fit. But my my design idea with the smaller neck is coming, and it'll only be about a finger's width inside of here as opposed to this entire width there. And so it'd be really compact for a wasp waist. And I think that it's going to look really cool when we start throwing out some VHC wasp waist builds. But I'll go ahead and pop that off of here and go at something else. Let's try something else here. We're at 8:35. We've been at this about 35 minutes. Dropping parts all over the place, man. I got so much stuff going on out here. One of the things that I've been talking about is the amount of modularity that you can do with these parts, and there's so much available, so much that you can do. I really like thin necks, so I think the next one we do is actually going to be a thin neck since I have the parts available in hand right now. So we're going to go ahead and swap these out. I should mention that the thin neck changed. A shroud over top of that thin neck would look cool. I think so too. I don't disagree. We're going to do that actually. I want to grab a shroud that's kind of a long boy, and we're going to try it out. We're going to test it. And yeah, as Great Wazoo has said, that's Ron, by the way. A friend of mine, he said he's done that, and there's no lie. I've seen it. It's pretty cool. For those of you that are interested, this is one of the other necks. It's not a thin neck. I mean, it is a thin neck design. I guess my light is just a little too bright. I didn't realize that it was that bright. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Yeah, braced thin neck. And so this is one that is kind of reminiscent of a couple of thin necks that have been out on the market. You've seen them kicking around. And again, it's asymmetric in design, so you could flip it one way or the other and get a different look for it. But we're going to use this one for this build, so I'm going to set it aside so I don't lose it. I really liked this one, but I want to build you guys another one. So we'll play with this pommel. We'll set this pommel piece aside just a little bit. We'll grab something else. So one of the ones, I found it. There it is. Beep, beep. Got it. Sweet. Picked it back up again. Okay, let's go back to that. Let's go back to that original one that I was playing with. And I was doing the 2 and the 3. I realized that I got sidetracked, and I didn't show you the 2-3 build that I wanted to do. So we're going to do that right now, and we're just going to grab this. I got some 31s. I think the adapters that are among the best are probably the 31s or the 30s, and the reason why is they're so deep, right? When you put the 30 on here, you've got about 2 millimeters of depth between the outside and the inside of this, and it really makes the intermediate spaces in between the saber parts pop. And I think the camera can pick it up. You can see how deeply that looks inside of that space. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to grab another 30. I really like the look of that one. All of the rings are designed to interact with it. The rings have an inner diameter of 29.15, so the 30s will just catch that, and it'll hold it in place just fine as long as it's indexed against the parts. So we'll go ahead and put these two together. Look at there. We got another 105 millimeter grip, basically. It's a little bit longer, about 106. There's a little bit of parallax on the camera there, but you can see it. But look, that's what I was looking for, trying to get that grip look. I really liked the way that looked, right? So let's go ahead and throw on the switch segment here, and I just lost it. Let's do this type 1. Let's do the type 1 neck, or not neck, the type 1 grip cap. And we'll do a 33 to hold that sucker in place, just like so. Grab that like this. Okay, that's not bad looking, I think. Yeah, we're getting pretty close now. Okay. Let's go ahead with that braced thin neck idea. I think I want to play with that concept just a little bit more. We'll go ahead and do something with this. So one of the things that's coming out soon, and I'm not really trying to advertise, but I wouldn't be here if I didn't. You know, Vire Sabers they're producing a emitter cap. Basically, what amounts to is like a smaller version of this, where it's primarily made for like for the emitter. It's actually literally probably exactly like this. It looks like it's about the same height as the VHC band top. Basically this segment right here, and it's surrounded. It's got like three or four holes in it for holding the saber blades. And so I'm really actually looking forward to that part because I think that it's going to be really neat. I'm pretty excited for it, and it would go really well on this portion here. I had made a couple of different ideas on it previously and didn't realize that they had something that was already in the works. So I may still end up producing it because I've got a couple of other designs beyond what they've got, but I think that it's a cool idea. You know, you can fight me if you want. That's fine. But to continue that braced thin neck idea, let's go back. Let me grab a pommel really quick. Throw something on here. There we go. We'll grab a 31. And we'll drop this pommel on here. Woo! So this is an ion pommel. I don't know that they carry this one anymore. I'm not sure. I think they do. But it's one of my favorite end caps. It looks really clannish, right? So that's kind of cool. I really like it. But let's go back to this thin neck here. And we'll go ahead and cap this off. It doesn't quite extend all the way down, so sorry about that. Let me grab the Kestis. This is the longest shroud that I have. And so the Kestis can do this fairly simply, fairly easily, and can make that happen. It's a little bit on the shiny side, but it's pretty good looking. And I appreciate the support. You guys are killing it tonight. I appreciate the chat. It's not very often that I get an opportunity to talk to people all the time. There's been about 4 or 5 of you that show up, and 4 of you that show up, and it's usually pretty quiet. But yeah, this is a really good example of what's possible with what is coming, right? And so let me throw a couple other parts at this really quick. This is one of my favorite parts. I really love the Monarch emitter. I think that it's one of the best emitters in the inventory for VHC. The only problem is I hate the crown. I think it's stupid. It's just way big, and it extends the pommel an extremely long amount. So one of the first things that I did, one of the first mods that I ever did, was chop the pommel off of one of them, and I made this super awesome. I chopped the crown off of it, and I made this super awesome version of it, and I love this to pieces. It's one of my favorite emitters. It's got a really good feel. This bulk up is really nice, but as it pertains to thin necks, usually what you see on a thin neck is you'll see, the thin neck piece, and then you'll have one of these emitters that has the flare on it, and I think that this is one of those really simple pieces that makes it pop really nicely. And I used this on my primary lightsaber for a really long time. I kept it around for a long time. You could do something like this. This is actually pretty short. This would make it pretty short, and so we would actually need another component in here to make this work the right way, or to make it work correctly. That's a little too long. Let me grab another component here. Oh, dang it. I used up all of my stuff. That's a first. That hasn't happened for a while. Let me see here. I don't have any other pieces. Here we go. I'll just grab that. That'll work. So the VHC band is about the same width as my female band. So it's really nice in a pinch to get you that pop of color, as it's been said previously. I think I've got that Revan around here somewhere. We'll pop that on there. And this looks really good on this piece. And it's a little out of time. Just a little out of timing. but that's okay. And you got, you know, a look that's it's kind of like this. And I really like that protected, you know, the protected shroud look. I took the internal portion out of it. I don't know where I put it right offhand, but I took, there's the accent piece that goes inside. I took out of it. Probably for another build somewhere along the lines, something like that. All right, I got about 15 minutes left. We'll play around with another build here really quick, and see what else. I really like the thin neck. I like to display this one a lot, and that's because this, you know, sorry for your ears there. You don't see a lot of short, thin necks in VHC at all. And really, honestly, without the Fire Saber's thin neck, I don't know that they would exist at all, because I don't know if anybody else wants to tackle it. And so, you know, stand on the shoulder of giants, basically, at this point, the people that created it. But I felt that there was a need to have some more, so I wanted to make some more, and that was what my goal was, is to make sure we have a little bit more to be able to play with. And I hope that everybody likes it. I think that it's going to be really cool. And the plan is by the end of the year to have at least 6 necks that are usable. So you have the 3 that I'm showing you, or the 2 that I'm showing you here. There's a third one that I've got, and I've got 3 more kind of sitting behind the scenes in development. They're not development, they're done. They're just waiting to go when we get the money. So it's just a matter of people being interested in picking up thin neck stuff because I think that's the one that's going to turn the tide this year at the moment. So I'm just disassembling this. It's taking me a little bit because it's got a lot of extra parts, and this is what the fun of this is sitting down and playing with this. And I've showed you pretty conventional looks tonight, which is, you know, usually a shroud on the top as an emitter. But what about when we start looking at putting shrouds in other places? And so you'll kind of get the idea and see that the design of these parts is made so that you can put these shrouds in any location, and you won't, you know, lose a whole lot in your grip. And I know that, you know, there's guys on this cast right now, like Ron and like Eidolon. I don't know if he's on the cast or not, but they've done this, and they've put grips in other places. And so it's imperative to have something that's easy, something short. You want to see a long boy with every choke? That's a tough one. I only have two of these chokes, man, and I really actually like building these as a grip, which is pretty cool. I'll see if I can make it happen here. So this wasn't intentional that I did this, but I saw a grip kind of happen the other day that was done. I think it was on one of like Nick Cohen's sabers that happened to have similar shapes, right, on one of his grips. And so this one is just a little bit different, a little bit differently shaped, I guess we'll say. But I like putting these together as like pairs, not pairs. What am I looking for? You know, like kind of butted against each other. Because I think that they have really nice shape, and unfortunately I only have 2 of these. I've really only ever gotten to 2. I haven't put like 5 of them together, and I don't want to get up from the stream to be able to go find them to put them together. But I'm going to put this inside of one of these. You know what? I only have 2 of each of these rings too. Dang it! All right, let's play around here and see what we can do. Yeah, I'm really a fan of this choke in particular. I think that it's one of the better ones. It's got nice comfort, feels good in the hand. How about a long shroud over that choke grip? All right, then, let's do that. You got it, man. I'm gonna do it. Long shroud extending to the grip. Let me see how to get there. This is all about just playing with stuff to find out what things fit the way that you want it to fit. Let's play with that shroud, or that pommel. I like it. Let's find a way to make this work. The only downfall is that I don't have a place in here to put, you know, the shroud where it connects to it. And so it would take a little bit of finagling, but I think I know how you could do it. I think I know how you could do it. I don't know if you saw that in screen there, but how about a long shroud on the choke grip? Let's do it. I'm trying to get to a point where, you know what, let's keep that in there. Let's put this in here. Okay, we'll grab another 31, we'll put that in there. Yep, I'm feeling it now, we're good. We on it. Yep. Okay. I'm not sure that that's the spot yet, but we want to have a pommel that is bigger than, I can't remember which pommel this is right offhand. Durandal maybe? I think it's a Durandal. We want the pommel to be bigger, right? Let's do this with, okay. I got it. We're going to put a ring on here. Yep. Okay. We're going to ring it. Like Beyonce says, I like it. I'm going to put a ring on it. God, I'm stupid. All right. I'm going to take a line out of old Ron's playbook here, and I'm going to say that if you were to put a threaded hole in this, you could affect putting this shroud on here just like that, right? So, got a pretty nice setup. Fits nicely in the hand. Gives a pretty good look to it, I think. It's not too shabby. That was a good idea. You know, the power of friends coming together and figuring something out. I actually think that this would look pretty cool with two of them on it. Maybe, just maybe. Nah, maybe not. It's okay. We'll keep that one for a secret later. But I like that. It looks really good. Okay, we're going to put that aside for just a second, and we're going to catch this. I'm going to put that together here. And there's a lot going on up there on that top end. Let's do the switch section here. Okay, it's a little off kilter, but that's all right. Nothing we can't handle. All right, we're gonna catch. We want to do what? What do we want to do with this? I think this looks really good with that. Let's see if we can't figure out what. I don't want to do a thin neck. We did a thin neck already. Okay. Yep, that's going to be a thing. I'll put that on there. Okay, we're going to build up a little spacer there on that piece. Beef up that end pretty nicely. Gives it some good spacing up there, I think. And let's grab one of those. I am fresh out of all of my parts. You guys are running me out of parts. Okay, let's keep that one for later. I want that one out of there. I want this one in. Oh man, I am short. I'm short. Yeah, this one looks a little goofy. Not a huge fan, but let's put a little rev cap on here, and kind of close. It's not too bad. I don't think that's too bad looking. I've seen worse, I guess. Yeah, it's not bad. I think we could probably pull this down just a little bit, honestly. Let's dunk this out of here and throw in something smaller, huh? What do you think? Let's throw in, let me throw in that one there. So I'm going to put in a VHC band and bring it down a little bit closer, and it should give us a little bit more of a rook, not rook, darn it, what am I talking about? A little bit more of a clan look. Oh, that looks so good, dang it. Ooh, girl. That's the one right there. Yep. That's not too shabby looking. Just a lot of playing around with it. Yes, sir. Man, that looks super good. I didn't realize that was going to look that awesome. And that little peak of orange or the gold in there, holy cow. That's fresh. Man, I dig it. That's a fun one. Just for perspective, you would get not quite 1 inch of blade depth out of that. So you'd have to be pretty careful with figuring out how to put a blade on that one. But that looks pretty solid, man. I like it. I am happy. I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. Dang. All right. Let's get this thing back apart. Yeah, so I think that the demonstrations tonight, I've kind of showed you. I think maybe scratch the surface might be the right. Oh yeah, for sure. I had that palm against, or I had the shroud against my palm already. That's actually where I like to have my shrouds when I'm wielding. It's got a really nice feel to it. So definitely it is a good feel. But I don't hold my sabers down here at the bottom, right? I tend to one hand my sabers, and it's always up here at the emitter. So I usually have the emitter right there at the end of my hand. Let me throw this emitter off of here. Let me throw this top off of here really quick and see if I can't find another emitter. But like, I've always been a firm proponent that, you know, the shrouds nestle into your hands really nicely. And you know, so funny story, the design on this shroud here, while I have it named G Shield for Große Shield, and it's supposed to look a lot like a kite shield from medieval times, it actually is based off of a design from one of my first lightsabers that I made for a character in Star Wars RPG. It was actually on the front of her lightsaber, and it was a pressure padded ignition, and so underneath of it was the switch, and so when she would grab the lightsaber, it would ignite. And so if she ever dropped it, at the time there wasn't really an understanding of how lightsabers worked very well when I was doing that, and so it was either an on or an off switch, or this one just happened to be a pressure related switch. And so she would hold it, she would fight with it one-handed style, and she could release it and let the saber go, and it would fall off and it wouldn't hurt anybody. So there was that, but I wanted to grab this this other emitter end, which I had in my hand, which I thought looked kind of cool, but I'm not so sure I want to play with it right now. And I don't know where I put that. There it was. So this emitter end came off of the Perseverance saber, and I think that it's just a little bit too big. It's just a little bit too wide, right? But I love how it feels up against your hand. And this actually kind of harkens back to like the original designs for lightsabers, where they had that flashlight shape, right? When you see in like the original artwork, they had the flashlight shape with the really big dish on the end of it. And so you can kind of get one of those flashlighty shaped lightsaber designs out if you really wanted to with that. And like I said, that's the Rover or the Perseverance one emitter from Dark Wolf. So there are a lot of these parts that are compatible across them, and I buy them just because they're interesting and neat parts to play around with, right? I'm getting into my last minute here. I'm running really long. And so I'll break this thing down really quick. I don't think I have anything else that I can add to it at this point, other than just shooting the breeze with you guys here. But I hope that my my show here demonstrated the versatility of all of these parts. They're designed for this purpose, for you to play, mix, and match. And one of the things that I've been talking about previously, and it kind of came up in my brain, was, what if I did a bunch of playing around, figured out what these structures were, and then I built a mock page, right? A my own creation page that goes up on the website, so that if you wanted to buy all these parts as a package, you could buy an MOC, and you would get them unassembled, and you could put them together. I thought that would be kind of a cool idea, and I can't claim 100% credit for that. It was kind of kicked around in ideas with Eidolon, and we've gone back and forth on some of the ideas. That's what I was wanting to play with. So I was gonna pull this one out and try and do a little build, just goofing around with this. This is pretty long. This is, I think, 9 or 10. Yeah, it's 10 ribs. So it's a little on the long side, but one of the things I wanted to do with this is in development, I have an emitter shrouding for a Graflex, and I really want to bring it out because it'll allow us to start making Starkiller builds with this grenade grip. And I'm super excited about doing something like that. But the problem is that you would have to have this a little bit shorter. And so I have 2 designs on this. I have one that's a 5 rib and one that's a 9 rib that I'm planning on producing at some point. And so you're going to see the ability to do basically what amounts to a Starkiller build. You have to use some imagination on this piece, but it might not be perfect, but I would really like to start seeing this grenade grip look make it into more of the other places on the lightsaber. So I'd like to have this up on the emitter end, so that you could put one of these clamshells on it over here, and run a couple of different looks through it, so that you end up having more like original trilogy type structures, making it into VHC. A lot of the stuff that we have now is just kind of filling the gaps at this point, but I'd like to see more of that as we go into what the future is. And so I'm gonna leave this mess kind of right here, and I'm gonna relocate myself over to the computer here really fast. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna pop off screen. All right, sorry about that. So I'm gonna make my head bigger. I'm gonna turn off my other capture. Let's turn this up. Let's turn it up. All right, so I want to thank everybody for coming out to the stream tonight. I really appreciate your time and energy in the chat. It's been the most active chat that we've had for a long time, and so if everybody really likes this idea where we sit down and play around with parts, you guys can throw me some ideas either via Discord or through additional chat blocks, and I can put some of this stuff together. I don't really do it on a regular basis for everybody else to see, but if you're in the Discord, I play around and I put stuff in now out in there so you guys can see it and play and get an idea on what I'm working on. But ideally, I would like to do more of these. So maybe once a month or more, twice a month or something. Let's see. We do this every 2 weeks, so twice a month, that would be both times. Let me revise that. Maybe once a month or, periodically. I've been slacking on making content, and it's really bad because I want to make content. I'm just not good at it. And so I'm better at off the cuff stuff for whatever reason. I can talk for days and days in a public setting about just nonsensical stuff, nonsensical things, and have no problems with it. But you put me in front of a screen or a monitor or something with a script, and I am a gibbering, blubbering mess. I have problems with it. I can't do it. So I usually do write little notes to myself for the show and what I want to talk about, and then that's it. That's basically it. I just kind of go off the cuff, and that's the magic that happens here. And so I've been trying to get into like making content, making things that are more structured and less off the cuff. And so I'm hoping in the next couple of months, next couple of weeks, you guys will start seeing, content coming out on like Instagram or Facebook or, in Reels or even on like TikTok as they start exploring those short form video pieces. And so, this piece will be structured for showing you guys how I build and do all the things. And then all of those will be, hey, come check out this stuff. It's really, really cool. But anyways, that's going to be the end of this show. I think we've overstayed our welcome now by a couple of minutes. My wife's probably looking for me to help out with the kids for their bedtime stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank everybody here. If you're not on the Discord, you should check it out. The Discord is very active. There's lots of people. I don't say lots. There's 10 or 12 people there that are pretty active, and we kick ideas back and forth. So if you want to say in how parts are made and what you see in the future, come out to the Discord, hit me up, shoot me a message, say, hey, it'd be really cool if you could do this, because I've got a really fast development time. I can get parts in about 6 to 8 weeks, thin neck notwithstanding. So just come check it out. Lots of good people there, lots of things to do. I think that's going to be it. Again, this is the Corvus Cast. My name's Tim. I'm going to catch you later.